Hey, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So I was really scolding myself the other day for being really useless at finishing projects. So I tend to have these moments of inspiration and creativity where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. This is gonna be the thing that breaks it. Um, and I get really, really infused about doing certain things. And then, lo and behold, after a little while, I seem to have an issue with sticking power, with maintaining, with consistency, with sustaining whatever it is that I've chosen to do. And lo and behold, most things just end up going by the wayside. And I was thinking about all of them the other day, and I was really chastising myself, actually. I was really denigrating myself for all of these things that I haven't done. So I've got screenplays that I started, and my screenplay was really cool because it all came to me in a dream. I was like, give me something to respond to. And my higher self was like, okay then. And basically gave me a dream about a 6-part series. And it's really amazing. But, it's half finished. Also, when I took ayahuasca, I think the first time, but on the fourth night, um, I had this amazing experience where I was taken up in a spaceship. I sound like a crazy person. I was taken up in a spaceship. They did experiments on me. And I was taken up in a spaceship, and it was really funny because I literally left the Maloka, went outside to the grass area. There was a spaceship there with a little ladder, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm going up here. All right, fine. Sat in this spaceship, and there was these two little aliens in front of me, and they were talking to each other in a alien language, right? But it was really clear what they were talking about. They were clearly just talking about what they were going to do at the weekend. One of them had a barbecue going on and their family coming over, and it was just the most mundane conversation ever. Anyway, we went up into the sky. We went up into the sky, hit a star, went vroom. If you want to get there, if you ever want to get there, this is how you go. You go up in the spaceship to the sky, then you turn left, you go straight down, and you go to the edge of space as far as you can possibly go. And once you hit the edge of space, what happens is the whole world implodes on itself and then switches up and flips on itself, yeah. And then what will happen is you will start descending down into a different world. And I started descending down into this world, and I looked over to the side, and there were these rocks, and inside the rocks, they had cut away into the rocks, and they'd cut all this metal into the rocks. And I was looking at that, and I was thinking that was crazy. And it was daytime, but even though it was daytime, everything was purple. The sky was purple. It wasn't like night, but it definitely wasn't like day here. And we carried on descending down, and we went through this jungle. And anyway, we landed. They dropped me off. We didn't land. They dropped me off on the branch of this tree. And the branch of this tree, I kid you not, was about 40 foot wide. And I turned around and I looked at this tree, and this tree was the biggest thing that I'd ever seen. It was, I mean, I couldn't actually even tell you how many feet wide it was. It was massive, absolutely massive. So I'm sitting on this branch for a little while, and then all of a sudden this guy turns up, and he's 9 foot tall, kind of cat eyes. He's got these scars across his stomach, and a mohawk, and he's all brown skin, really long limbs, kind of looking a little bit like Avatar, but not blue, right? Kind of looking a bit like that. And he comes and he sits down and he says to me, hi, my name's Jacob, and this is the great grandfather tree. And I'm like, oh, nice, nice, lovely. Sitting there for a little while. And then he says to me, you know, you might not remember this, but you're actually from here. And as he said it, I started looking around, and I got this really distinct feeling of being home. And it was all of a sudden I remembered. I remembered oh yeah, oh yeah, I am from here. I'd completely forgotten. He said to me, yeah, man, you left a long time ago. Forgot. It's okay. So anyway, we're sitting there for a little while, being quintessentially English. I was struggling to deal with the silence for such a long time. Jacob was very comfortable. Francisca was not very comfortable. So to deal with my own anxieties, I said to him, "Hey, Jacob, tell me a story." And this guy started telling me the most beautiful, poetic, interwoven piece of literature I've ever heard in my life. And I love to read. Like, I love to read. I'm not sure if anybody's caught onto that by the the amount of vocabulary that comes out of my mouth, but I really love to read. And this was fucking beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I just remember thinking to myself, I want to write this down. I really, really want to write this down. And I said, whoa, Jacob, stop. You need to stop because you don't have a pen. And I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly inebriated right now on account of all of the ayahuasca that I've just drunk. And I don't think I could write it down anyway. And he said to me, okay, that's absolutely fine. He said, listen, I really do want you to tell the stories from my people here. And you know what? Whenever you're ready, I'm here. And I said to him, okay, cool. Are you happy for me to channel something, when I'm ready to write? He's like, yeah, no worries, no problem. Anyway, I left the tree, the consultation was over. I came back to Earth, both literally and figuratively. Came back to Earth. And I remember I immediately started writing. Very second that I got back, I drew a picture. And I immediately started writing this book. And then over the next 4 or 5 days, I kept on going into this really, really heavy meditation. And every time I went into a meditation, something else would be taught to me about this civilization. Anyway, the point of the story is not that. I really do love that story. I really do love that story. But the point of the story is not that. The point of the story is that I started writing this book and I really love it. I've mapped it all out. It's a 3-parter. It's a trilogy. I know everything that's going to happen and I started writing it and then again it just went by the wayside. I started a Facebook page that grew to 10,000 followers in the space of 3 months, which was insane. And just haven't done anything with it for the past year. Started making videos, recording videos, stopped. Started putting my parenting program, changing the format, did everything for that, just went by the wayside, done nothing with it. Started learning about business, bought myself a little course, really enthusiastic about that. Didn't really finish that. Started a master's degree, was getting firsts in everything. Didn't finish that either. So there's just all these things, all these projects that I've started that I haven't finished. And I was lying in bed the other night and I was really telling myself off about this. Fran, when are you going to sort yourself out? You're just wasting your time. You're wasting your talents. When are you going to get it together? When are you going to actually finish something that you started? Why don't you have it in you to finish anything that you started? What the fuck is wrong with you? Etc. 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 And the more that I chastised myself, the more that I condemned myself for my inability to see anything through, the more that another part of me started not fighting back, because what's the point of having an argument with yourself? But the more that another part of me started processing actually what that meant. Rather than asking myself why, because why is a very blame-led question. Why means that you need to have some kind of answer, and in the end, it probably just whittles down to 2 things. Either I don't know why I did that, or it's because I'm an absolute piece of shit. They're the only two reasons why I've done anything in my life. So instead of asking why, asking like wherefore, right? What does it mean? And I went through this process of kind of being like, well, what does it mean? Why am I such a piece of shit? What is it that has created this? And I could psychoanalyze myself to the cows come home, right? In terms of why it is maybe that I struggle to see things through. So my mind was doing all of that, and my ego was like deconstructing my psyche, which is fun. Um, and after I'd got through all of that and figured out the whys and the wherefores and all the rest of it, what I came to realize actually was that there are no unfinished projects. There are no wasted, there is no wasted time, right? That each and every single thing that I have done has built upon and contributed to and got me to the point that I am now. So, for example, if I think about this Facebook page that I started up and all the work that got put into that and all the positive feedback that I got from that and all these videos that I did, and the fact that now I've done nothing with it and everyone's like, what, you've just got a Facebook page just sitting there with tens of thousands of people on it and you just not doing anything with it. Like, what is wrong with you? And my mind was saying the same thing to me as well the other day. But actually, that really had a very, very clear purpose. When I first started recording videos for that, and it's funny because the first ever video that I recorded, and I never released it, was called The Fear of Being Seen. And it was talking about exactly that, how difficult it was for me to just sit in my house with nobody around and talk about things that I'm passionate about, talk about things that I know very well, talk about things that I have experience and wisdom and academic backing to actually talk about. How awful that was. And not only has that laid a precedent for what I'm doing now, not only has that created a strong foundation and a strong framework for me to be able to do this, which could potentially lead to something better or could also lead to the next step. But the other thing that it did for me is it made me realize, okay, your issue, Fran, around performing, whether it be singing or just going to a club and dancing and enjoying that moment, whatever it is, it's not about those things. So I had previously decided, okay, I can't sing. I'm never going to sing in front of anybody. I've just got this talent. And again, it's just going to be like a project that's been wasted, like just gifts and talent that's been wasted for me. We're never going to do anything with it. But actually, doing those videos, it made me realize, okay, if if I can't even do it for something like this, something that feels like a business, something that feels like, I don't know, like there was no personal investment, this is not something that I'm scared to do. I'm not scared to stand up and go and talk in front of people about things. Like, this isn't something that I suffer with. If I can't do it there, then there is a fucking problem. Like, if I can't do it in this like clinical setting, in this area that feels like something that's so far removed from anything that's in the soul of me, like building a business. This is like doesn't mean anything to me, like, other than the practicalities of it, right? If I can't do it here, then there's a serious problem. And actually, what that did was that got me to look at what the deeper issue was, the deeper, deeper, deeper issue, and how that affected and was like this insidious thing that affected absolutely everything in my life. And I was like, Fran, if you can't do it here in something that absolutely means really not that much for you, then there's a serious problem. And actually, it was at that moment that I made a decision that I was just going to go and sing. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to go and do it because this is something that actually I am passionate about. I think doing those videos really helped me to reconcile a much deeper issue inside of me. And I guess the thing is that aside from the specifics to me, I think that if we can, if anyone can recognize that all failures, yeah, are actually a step to success, then it takes the idea of failure out of the picture completely. You know, everybody has something that they want to achieve. The thing is that if you're focused on the end goal all the time, that is such a momentary thing, you know. The minute that you've achieved it, it's already gone. You're like, yay, oh, okay, gone. The moment's gone. But if you can celebrate every single step that you take towards that goal as a win, like, yay, I didn't do anything on my Facebook page, but actually it got me to the next step. If you can see everything like that, then firstly, it stops you from berating yourself and treating yourself like shit and bringing up all of your failures every single time you feel bad. Also, it allows you to live consistently, continuously, yeah, in a state of winning. And if you can live in a state of winning all the time rather than in a state of losing, if you can live in a state of success rather than a state of failure, and that's only going to bring more success. It's only going to bring more wins for you. Yeah, I think that's it. So, it's 11:11. I love it. Something that I'm grateful for, man. What else can I say? I'm really grateful for all those failures. Thank fuck for all those failures. So grateful for every single one of them. Each one of them has been instrumental. Instrumental. Yeah, I think that's it.